Hi, and welcome to O2 Tarot Talks, conversations about one thing you can do right now to stay healthy in your body and mind. And as always, a little disclaimer, today's talk is for informational purposes only. Please consult your practitioner for advice specific to your situation. And now that we've gotten that out of the way, I am very pleased to introduce today's guest, Tanya Detrik, author, speaker, and writer. How are you today, Tanya?
I'm great, and it's so good to see you, Tara.
Thank you. It's wonderful to see you too. Tanya and I do know each other in person. We're both members of the National Speakers Association, and because of everything that's going on, it has been a while since we've gotten to get together. And I'm sure all of you are feeling the same thing in your world. Well, Tanya, can you tell us in one sentence how you help people?
I help people because I like to inspire them to consider how small shifts in their perspective can actually de-stress their lives and make them healthier.
I think that's great. And I'm so glad that we're going to be talking about that small shift in perspective idea today, because I think it's so necessary right now. Well, can you tell us, Tanya, what is one thing that we can do right now?
Well, the one thing that I see that's happening out there is there are people that are just full of fear about this whole pandemic. And certainly it requires, or it deserves some caution. But living in fear is horrible for your immune system. And shifting out of that might not be as difficult as people think that it is.
Great.
So
yeah, I'm sorry, we're talking over each other. I'm so
so
excited. Can you tell a little bit, you mentioned how fear is, unhealthy for our immune system. Can you just go into a little bit about what you mean by that when you say that?
Yeah, and this is a very unscientific explanation, but our bodies are chemical factories. They respond to what we're thinking. If we're thinking good thoughts, then we're flooded with hormones and things that make us feel good and build us up. If we're thinking negative things like fear, anger, which are both stressors, the chemicals that our bodies produce and send through our bloodstream tear us down. They're great for fight or flight, but over time, not good. And a lot of people right now are living in that state of very negative feelings.
Right, good. And I love too how you mentioned fight or flight, because that's exactly where so many of us are right now. As a breathing specialist, I see it so much. People breathing in a different way, using their upper chest muscles to breathe, because that's exactly what we need to do when we're in fight or flight. And if we have to run away from that saber-toothed tiger, but that's not what we have right now. And it's around us all the time. We never really get to you burn off all those hormones that would allow us to get away from the tiger. Instead, we have the stress response and then we sit with it. We don't get to burn it off. So it is really damaging for the body. So if we think about that, what would be some roadblocks then if people are aware that they want to shift their thinking away from this fear-based mode? What would be some roadblocks that would prevent people from shifting?
I think the biggest roadblock is not realizing that you have a choice. Most of us think that we're in that and we don't have a choice and we have to stay in it, and we're responding to outside influences. And we know we can't control those outside influences. All we can do is control ourselves and our response to those influences. And that's the point. But you have to realize that you have a choice, first of all. So that's the major roadblock. And that's usually the aha moment when people can shift.
Right, right. So this idea of saying, hey, wait, I don't have to be reacting to these external inputs, if you will. I have a choice. Great. So can you tell us then what would be a way that we could overcome that? What can we do to help get this shift in our thinking?
The first thing you have to do is be aware of how you feel and want to feel better. And I don't know too many people who don't want to feel better. So that would be the first thing that you have to do is check in with your body. How are you feeling? Like, I'm sure you say that about the breathing also, because that's a trigger, that's a sign. And you probably don't even need that in this situation. You're walking around in fear. So first of all, you can start with realizing maybe you need to shut off the news for a while, or you need to counterbalance it with something positive. You got to shift to a more positive perspective, because there are a lot of them to be had. In fact, gratitude itself, just the feeling of gratitude and what you do have around you in this pandemic is almost a vaccine. It will shift you into feeling better. What you focus on expands, and if you focus on fear, you're going to create more of it in you. So that's one of the ways I suggest. It's a great thing. Wake up every day, write down 5 things you're grateful for, and don't repeat them the next day. Go a whole week without repeating the 5 till you expand to realize you got food in your cabinet, you got gas in your car if you need it for an emergency. You have many, many things to be grateful for. Gratitude is where I send people, number one, to shift from fear, to realize that it's okay and you're okay in the moment, and all you have is the moment. So just focus on the moment.
Definitely. And when you talk about practicing gratitude like that and concretely writing it down, I remember one time when I had a low spot in my life, and I said, okay, I need to do this gratitude practice thing that everybody is talking about. And it was literally like, that blueberry was really delicious today. Because it was, but I was looking to find things that was like, okay, yeah, this is, so you have a tough period right here, but there are still good things. And I did feel the shift, because whatever it does, whatever that mind-body connection is, when you put your mind towards a positive, it does definitely have an effect on the full you.
And the first time you do it, you actually do it, then you realize what a tool it is. And the next time you get into that fear situation or whatever it is, you embrace the realization that you have a choice, and that's so important. That's so important. You have a choice about the way that you think, and look for something good and positive. On YouTube, where you're posting this, there are tons of positive meditations, and you don't need to be a meditator. I sometimes turn them on just when I go to bed and figure all the positivity sort of flowing through me when I go to sleep, but it sure does help to relax you. And really, it's as simple as it could be, and the choices in that are amazing.
Yeah, I have looked at some of those videos too, and even just the music alone is so wonderful. It just is it's a very calming sort of thing. The other thing that I wanted to mention about what you said about, realizing that we have choice, that is indeed so crucial, because when in a situation like this where we do not have control over so many things, if we can let ourselves remember that we do indeed have control over what we choose to focus on, then that really can help shift the whole situation and make it that much more manageable. So I think that's an excellent point. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Tanya. I really think that by helping people to do this one thing, to really, decide what they can, to get out of fear and think about what they have control of, is really an excellent strategy to help us stay healthy in body and mind during this really challenging time.
Yes, for sure, for all of us, yeah.
Tanya, if someone wanted to get more information about you, where would they go?
So my website is the same as my name. It's TanyaDetrik.com. Are you putting up yeah, so I don't have to spell it for you.
We got it. Well, thank you so much, Tanya. I really appreciate you taking the time to share great one thing that we can do right now.
I appreciate the fact that you're putting this out there for all of us and all the other ones that you're doing. I think it's a great service.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.